Okay, so let's get right into it. We're talking about a new system called Paper2Video, and it's designed to tackle a problem that, well, pretty much anyone who's ever had to present something will understand. It's an AI that can read a super dense, complicated research paper and, believe it or not, automatically turn it into a full-on video presentation.
I mean, seriously, who hasn't been there, right? You've got this mountain of text, a bunch of data, and your job is to somehow boil it all down into a short, engaging presentation. It can be a total nightmare. Just hours of copying, pasting, trying to summarize, and messing with slide designs.
And if you're a scientist or an academic, this is a huge pain. The paper itself says it can take hours of really intense work just to make a video that's maybe 5 or 10 minutes long. That is time they could be spending doing, the actual research.
So that brings us to the really big what if. What if you could just skip all of that? What if you could hand your paper to an AI and just say, hey, make a video out of this? And not just slides, I mean the whole shebang, the narration, a virtual presenter, all of it. Sounds a bit like science fiction, but that's exactly what this project is all about.
So let's pull back the curtain and meet the system that actually makes this possible. It's called Paper2Video, and it gives us a really fascinating peek into how AI can start to automate these super creative and complex jobs.
So the brains of the operation is an AI agent the creators call PaperTalker. You could think of it as your own personal AI director, designer, and editor all rolled into one. It literally reads the paper, figures out the important stuff, and then builds the whole video from the ground up.
And this is the part you really got to get. The ambition here was huge. We're not talking about some simple tool that just puts text on a slide. No way. PaperTalker is juggling multiple things at once, making the slides, writing the script, generating a voice to read it, creating a talking head presenter, and even adding a little cursor on screen to guide your eyes.
Okay, so how on earth does it actually pull all of that off? Let's pop the hood for a second and meet this little digital production crew.
Well, it turns out PaperTalker isn't one single AI. It's more like a specialized team of 4 different builders. It's a smart way to tackle a big problem. Break it down. So you've got the slide builder, which makes the visuals. Then the subtitle builder writes what the presenter is going to say. The talker builder creates that virtual presenter you see on screen. And finally, the cursor builder adds those little mouse movements that, just like a real person, show you exactly what to look at.
Now, the slide builder is especially clever. We've all been there, right? You're in PowerPoint or Google Slides, you add one more image or a line of text and poof, the whole layout just breaks. Everything's overlapping. Well, PaperTalker has a system to fix that exact headache.
And this shows it perfectly. Look on the left. That's the AI's first draft. It's a mess, right? But then it does something really smart. It generates a bunch of different layout options, fiddling with font sizes and where the images go, and then it has another AI act like an art director to pick the best looking one. The result is that clean, professional slide you see on the right. Way better.
And this whole thing isn't just smart, it's also incredibly fast. Because it's working on each little piece of the video for each slide at the same time, it can do things in parallel. And that leads to a huge 6x speedup compared to just rendering one long video from start to finish.
Okay, so it's fast and it's clever. But that leads to the biggest question of all. Is the final video actually any good? And how do you even grade a presentation made by an AI?
This was a real hurdle for the researchers. You can't just use normal video quality tests. A good presentation isn't just about sharp pixels. It's about, did you actually communicate the idea? Did people learn something? So they had to get creative and invent their own grading system. They came up with 4 new ways to measure success. You have meta-similarity, which just checks if it's faithful to the original. PresentArena makes AIs compete head-to-head. IP memory is super important, and make sure you still remember the human author's name. But for my money, the most interesting one is PresentQuiz.
So first, let's see how actual people rated the videos. No big surprise, the original human-made presentation scored the highest, with a 4.6 out of 5. But look at PaperTalker. It came in at a really strong 3.8. That's way better than other AI methods, and it's getting awfully close to the quality of the real thing.
That's pretty impressive on its own. But that's not the biggest surprise. The real shocker came when they measured how effective these videos were at actually teaching you the content. And that's where that PresentQuiz metric comes back in.
And here it is. People who watched the AI-generated video scored 10% higher on a comprehension quiz than the people who watched the video made by the actual human author. Just let that sink in for a second.
The AI was a better teacher than the expert who wrote the paper. It's wild. Maybe it's because it's more structured and just sticks to the key points without going off on tangents like a person might.
A result like that has massive implications, and they go way beyond just academic conferences. So let's zoom out and think about what this could mean for the future of how we all communicate.
Because ultimately, this isn't just about being more efficient. It's about accessibility. This kind of tech could be a huge leap forward in making knowledge available to everyone. It could take any dense, technical document, a medical study, a legal brief, and turn it into a video that anyone can actually understand.
And that leaves us with one last big thought. Just imagine a world where this tech is perfected, where any paper, any report can become an engaging explainer video in just minutes. What does that unlock for the future of learning, of science, of discovery? How much faster could new ideas spread? It's a pretty exciting future to think about.